Hey, folks, we're live. And right now I'm kind of waiting on here we go. I was kind of waiting on the Facebook to catch up so that I can share this live stream. We will definitely be getting into the first two episodes of WandaVision in just a second. Let's see here. Let some people know we're here. Maybe some people come in during it. Otherwise, I'll just kind of give some of my thoughts and theories and what's going on with the show. Okay. So, oh man, so excited about this show. Sorry if it seems like I'm not. This is such a weird. I make vinyl community videos all the time, and I am so used to looking back at the playback and seeing me actually looking at the camera. But with this, whenever I do live streams, I use a webcam, and it's never, so the screen I'm looking at is never the screen, is never the lens. So it always looks like I'm looking at something else. But I am looking directly at what is broadcasting right now. A couple things on my mind. One, I did want to kind of explain. I know I normally, the live streams I do with Mandy, which I just did at 8 o'clock on Wonder Woman, and now I'm back here tonight. It's just the unfortunate sign of the times. 2 weeks ago, we had planned on doing an office. Live stream and talk about a couple episodes, and it got delayed because that happened to be the day of the insurrection at the White House. I don't like to get too political on here, just because I feel like it's the escape for me from real life and politics. I talk about records and movies and TV and things that I enjoy, and not real. If I wanted to do something political, I'd probably just start another channel, because I really don't want to mix the two. So anyway, because of the insurrection at the White House, we postponed that live stream a week, because we kind of felt it inappropriate. One, that it might be kind of inappropriate to do a live stream on a day like that. And also, I don't think we were really in the mood. We were probably as traumatized as everybody else. And so the decision to go tonight was unfortunately kind of based on the same thing. I'm just afraid that tomorrow will not be a day without incident, and it may not be proper to do a live stream tomorrow. And I'm just so sorry that our society has come to this, that we actually have to deal with homegrown terrorism now. I do want to, like I said, I don't want to be political, but I do want to make this clear. I have no use for alt-right racists. none whatsoever. So if that offends, if you like groups like the Proud Boys and stuff like that, we really don't have anything in common, and there's, that just disgusts me. I also don't like bullies. I don't like groups that think that might makes right. And I'm an American. I believe in the rule of law, and I believe we need to act like civilized human beings. So, unfortunately, I am afraid that something is going to happen tomorrow, because I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But and make no mistake, my prayers are going out for our men and women in our National Guard, and the DC cops and law enforcement everywhere across the country that's going to be putting themselves in harm's way tomorrow. They have my full support and my prayers, and yeah, just know that we appreciate you keeping our democracy safe. So that's the end of my political spiel. Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, for those of you who like football, don't forget Friday night, Steve and I are always here. We'll be here at 9:00 to discuss the AFC and NFC championship games. So put that on your calendar. So now let's talk some about WandaVision. First of all, how great is it to have the MCU back in our lives? I miss these characters. I'm particularly excited about this because, well, one, I'm not really when it comes to comic books, I'm not really a company man. I love both DC and Marvel. When I started reading comic books as a little kid, I didn't really care who made the comics. To be quite honest with you, I just wanted comic books. I just wanted to read comic books. I didn't care about, oh, well, DC is better than Marvel, Marvel's better than DC. It wasn't even an issue for me. I just wanted to read, and not just superhero comics either. Archie comics, Harvey comics with like Casper and Richie Rich and Hot Stuff when I was real little. Just comic books, loved them. Having said all that, obviously probably my favorite superhero is Batman. No question. But when you cross over into Marvel, believe it or not, my favorite superhero is not an obvious choice. It's not Captain America or Spider-Man. Love them both. But my favorite character is the Vision. And I think that's because growing up, I often felt strongly about things and had a lot of emotions that I didn't know what to do with, and nobody really cared. What I thought. I was a geek. I was nobody. Nobody really cared what I thought. Nobody really cared anything. And I got picked on a lot for, I had weight issues early in high school and just different things that I got picked on. So I was a nerd, and so with all this stuff, and yet I'm trying to stay under the radar. When you're picked on a lot, you don't try to draw attention to yourself. You just want to be quiet and get left alone. And so what do? But you're a human being. You feel all this stuff, and you feel it passionately. And you have all this stuff built up. But it doesn't seem like there's any appropriate, or not necessarily even appropriate or inappropriate, but just doesn't seem like there's much avenue to express yourself. So what do you do with all that? Well, I related to the Vision because here he is, an android but yet somehow sentient and trying to deal with all the things that he thinks and feels. And so when there were times where he was very cold and kind of calculated, and I felt like I identified with that because a lot of times I felt that I didn't have the freedom to, well, let me uncover these comments in case somebody walks into this room. But I didn't feel like I had the freedom to express myself. So I guess I related to an android. So anyway, the Vision became my favorite superhero, and his powers were cool too. The ability to control his density. Now, we've not seen it much in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far, but I always thought he had one of the coolest visuals, because he often would take his hand and penetrate someone's chest and then start turning his hand solid again. And it just always looked great on a comic book page, but we really haven't seen him do that on screen yet. I guess we got a glimpse in episode 1 of WandaVision when he helped that guy that was choking. So where was I going with that? Okay, so then the other thing about the Vision, if you think about it, both he and Batman are superheroes that kind of deal with fear. Both are, Batman's costume design and everything is about putting fear in the criminals. And here is the Vision walking through walls, looking like a ghost, big red face. Quite a scary individual. And so I think both of those heroes have that in common. Probably another reason why somebody who's bullied likes the hero that strikes fear in the heart of bullies. So now you know how it feels. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to let's see. I'm trying to decide if I should hit a little history on these guys, or do I want to start talking about where we left off with the Vision and hang on, I'm looking for something right now. I think what we'll do is we'll first start with kind of where we left off in the cinematic universe, and then I'll kind of hit some of the backstory as we get into it, and then we'll talk a little bit about where the show may be going. All right. So the first thing in trying to figure out what's going on is you got to know where you've been. Well, get this hat straight again. Not that I'm... Oh, wow. Kind of hard to do it when you're backwards here. Okay. So kind of trying to figure out where we've been. Last time we saw Vision was in Avengers Infinity War, and it was toward the end. They were trying to Black Panther's sister was trying to remove the Soul Stone from the Vision. And I've covered up the comments again. Who do I think is the voice coming over the radio? That is a good question. And I think we need to figure out where they're at to figure out whose voice that is that's trying to get to Wanda. My first guess is probably maybe Sword. There's been a lot of speculation that the Sword is watching over this scenario, but it's hard to say. So let's look at where we've been with some of these, where we've left off. So Vision was having the Soul Stone taken out by Black Panther's sister, but she never got the opportunity to complete the job. Vision had Wanda, and what had to be a terribly traumatic event for Wanda, had her kill him, basically blow his head up, blow his Soul Stone up, so that Thanos couldn't get a hold of it, not realizing Thanos would use a time stone to rewind and get a hold of it. Wait a minute, I'm confusing my stones. The Soul Stone was what Gamera was sacrificed for, wasn't it? So, what stone was it? I have to Google this. I thought I had my stone straight. So, what stone does the Vision have? And that stone is the Mind Stone. Okay, now we're straight. So that's the Mind Stone. So Thanos rips it from his head. He goes colorless, which is kind of a grisly Easter egg back to the time when the Vision kind of had no color. So as the Vision, so we've got the Vision. He's dead. Mind Stone taken from him. How bad is the injuries to his android body? Obviously, pretty bad. Because if we look at Infinity War, there doesn't appear to be any attempt to revive him, though we don't know. There's no mention of the Vision. There's very little mention of the Vision in that film. There's only one statement that I can think of. It's at the very end when Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch are talking about Black Widow and Vision being gone. That's the only acknowledgement. So it makes you wonder. I mean, you start working through this. What do you do with what was done with his android body? Was it preserved in any way? Was it who has custody of his body? You wouldn't necessarily bury him because he's not a human being in that sense. He's not flesh and blood. He doesn't decay. There's always, I would think, there would always be hope with the android that if technology advances, you might be able to repair them. And I'm kind of surprised too. There wasn't a greater effort to repair him, given that Sherry wouldn't have to even though Stark's not available to repair him because he was stuck on another world, and then stuck out in space. You don't really need. I would think it'd be easier to go back and kind of reconstruct him from a physical sense, kind of backwards engineer him, and I would think that would be easier. But there didn't seem to be an attempt to do that. So who has custody of his body? Where is he at the time of Endgame? So that we don't know. I did hear, or I watched a video earlier today that was talking about, it was actually an interview with Paul Bettany, I believe. And he was talking about how he was originally supposed to be in an end credit scene at the end of Endgame, Avengers Endgame, where basically Scarlet Witch would be pulling his body out of I don't know if it was a morgue or a tomb or a body bag or what. But that was supposed to be in there, but they decided not to not to include it, which exasperated Bethany because he really wanted to get paid for having even for the small part he would have had. See, then he needs the Mind Stone to become animated. Since they had to return the Mind Stone, it means he has to stay dead unless Wanda brings him back in an alternative reality. I don't know about that, Vin. I really don't know about that. Just his body doesn't make him the Vision. That's true. But now, if you remember, Bruce Banner said in Endgame that he believed that the Mind Stone could be separated from the Vision, because he said that there was, even if you separated the Mind Stone, there was more of the Vision there than wasn't. That's why Sherry was working on him during the big last battle. They were frantically trying to separate him from the Mind Stone, but it was too intricately woven into him. So it was they just ran out of time, and that's why the Vision then told Wanda, said, you've got to do it, and she agreed, and then blew him up. So can he exist without the Mind Stone? I think he can. But so that again, that leaves a great question of why, because if you remember in Endgame, there was, after the Avengers located Thanos, found out that he had used the Infinity Gauntlet to destroy itself. Then Thor lopped his head off, and they all went home, and it was several years past until Ant-Man came out of the microverse. That's not what they call it. Wow, I'm getting old. I used to be able to remember terms like that so well. So, so why wasn't an effort made? So that's one of the questions that I have going into this Vision Wanda series: is where was his body? And the Quantum Zone. Thank you. So where was his body all that time, and why weren't they working on it? Then we have to wonder about, all right, so then one of the prevailing theories right now is that this is Wanda in a pocket reality that she has created, which leaves a few questions on its own. I mean, first, the House of M storyline, which some of that would be taken from. I mean, these were events that happened over a long course of time. But if you look at Wanda's mental state through Endgame, she clearly is upset about Vision's death, but she doesn't seem unhinged. She appears to there is a point in the grand battle when Wanda steps up and she actually gets Thanos back on his heels, which shows just how powerful she can be. But again, in the scene with Hawkeye, she seems to be at peace with Vision's passing. So what has transpired between the end of Avengers Endgame and the beginning of WandaVision that would cause her to become unhinged and then start creating a pocket universe that she and Vision are now inhabiting? So where are they? That's the next part. What are the possibilities of where they could be? It is possible that they're in a pocket reality created by Scarlet Witch, though at this point she hadn't really shown control of her power to that kind of level. But is she doing it subconsciously, and is that possible? There are some other things that maybe they're assuming that we'll look back at the source material and make that jump, but they're throwing us something completely different, something that will shock us a couple episodes from now. Now, one thought I had, which I dismissed because except for seasons 1 and 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel has not really seemed to care too much about that series, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It seems to me that they are just kind of want to ignore that show. But it did go through my mind that if they were able to reconstruct the Vision's body, maybe we're in his mind. Maybe this is an attempt that Wanda is in there in an attempt to try to regenerate the Vision, to somehow pull whatever there is of him in there out. And if you remember from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was a device called the Framework, which was a reality making device in which Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. found themselves in it. And once they found themselves in it, they were unaware that they were in the framework. And so they were acting based on the reality that was around them. Much like the Matrix. And so are we in Wanda's So the real question is: are we actually in Wanda, a more supernatural mutant based power that is making an alternate reality, tapping into the supernatural, making an alternate reality, or are we in a more tech-based alternate reality that's maybe being used to regenerate the Vision? We do know that there is an outsider. To your point, to Vin's point, about who is the voice coming over the radio. Well, where we're at may determine who that is. So maybe Wanda has gone into the framework to get the Vision, and she has forgotten why she's there, and maybe that's what that voice is. Maybe there's an outside voice that has helped her get in there, and they're trying to communicate with her to figure out why she's not actively doing what she needs to do to help the Vision. That's one of my theories, is that maybe this is all. It's just maybe a little too easy to assume that this is a hex-based or a Scarlet Witch generated alternate pocket reality. It may be something totally different. So then you look at how each character is acting in it. And they're not acting so who's aware? Who seems to have some form of awareness? Both Wanda and Vision seem to have some awareness that something's not right. And the neighbor, Agnes. Now, the one thing I think that we can be certain of, and I'm going to pull it up here. Let me get to my share screen. Okay, on the wrong thing right here. We're going to go here. One thing that I think that we can that they have given us that's pretty obvious is that I do believe Agnes is Agatha Harkness, which does suggest that that maybe one of the villains that will come out in this storyline is Mephisto. So either way, so what I'm trying to figure out is, either way, how is Mephisto involved? If this were something like the framework, a tech-based reality, what would Mephisto have to do with that? So that may kind of rule that out. If it's supernatural based, that would leave more room for Mephisto. We know that Agatha Harkness has been manipulated, kind of a pawn of Mephisto in previous stories and in stories related to the Scarlet Witch. Is she a villain? Is she just a pawn? And that's hard to say. I do. She does though seem to have something more going on than the others. All right, so let's get back to the Vision and to the Scarlet Witch and the fact that they are both somewhat aware that something is not right. And so one of the first clues that we get that they are both aware is that the Vision goes to work and he starts questioning why he's there. What is it that they do? Oh, they They're a company. Well, what do we produce? We don't really produce anything. It's computation sheets, and so there doesn't seem to be a clear. It's almost pointless what they do, and Vision seems to be somewhat aware of that, though he doesn't question it for long because he's got other things on his mind. Okay. Got another comment from Vin here. All right. Since Kevin Feige said this will, I guess we'll go into Doctor Strange 2. It might be more likely that this is alternate reality magic based, although she did get her powers through tech. Well, then that's a good point too. So, and that is something to look at. So the question then is this story going to wrap up within itself, or is this simply serving as a prequel to Doctor Strange and what is it called? The Multiverse of Madness? Because this could lead to the unraveling of the Scarlet Witch. And if she becomes totally unhinged and finds the potential of her power, then we are looking at if she loses herself and her powers become unchecked, she can make Thanos look kind of weak in comparison. I mean, in the past, in some of the comic storyline, well, I know in one storyline, she was becoming so powerful and so unhinged that the Avengers and X-Men met to discuss what to do about her. And there was more than one person who was in favor of just taking her out. All right. But if this is more supernatural based, then that leaves that burning question that Vin opened with. Who do you think is the voice coming over the radio? Could it be Doctor Strange? Could it be that Wanda's in some sort of coma? Some kind of trance? Could it be Doctor Strange using some sort of magic to get it to try to penetrate the that reality and communicate to her through devices in that particular reality? It's quite the mystery. Let's look at some of the other things that may pop up. Now, I thought one of the Easter eggs that was mentioned. Let's go back here to here. All right. I wish I could make that a little bit bigger, but what is that linked to? That's just an Amazon page. This is kind of significant, this cover here, and I don't think I can blow that up anymore. All right, and the reason why it's significant is one of the Easter eggs. So at the beginning of episode 2, and I still can't. Oh, please blow up. All right. So at the beginning of episode 2, there's a Bewitched animated opening, a Bewitched-like animated opening. And in one of the frames, this Vision is kind of flying through the floorboards. We see a shape that looks like this helmet. This helmet belongs to the Grim Reaper. Now, the Grim Reaper obviously is tech-based. He's not a supernaturally based villain. What is the history with Vision and Grim Reaper? Well, okay. So what a lot of people may not know, and because in the MCU, the Vision is more the creation of Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk. And then, of course, that combined with the Mind Stone. So Vision's father really is he's got two dads, the Hulk and Iron Man. That's not the way it happened in the comic books. In the comic books, Tony Stark created Ultron. Ultron, in turn, created the Vision and set out and sent the Vision to attack the Avengers. And he would do it more than just, and in fact, this is another attempt. This is later in Vision's career. He had already joined the Avengers. He had married Scarlet Witch. How did Ultron create the Vision? Well, the synthesoid body of the Vision, he was actually another superhero before then. This is not MCU. This is Marvel Comics. Back there in the war, Captain America had a superhero team. That superhero team was called the Invaders and consisted of Captain America and Bucky, Submariner, and the Human Torch and Toro. Well, the android body of Visions was formerly the android body of the original Human Torch. Now, I don't know all the specifics of how Ultron got it, but all right. So then, if you look at that comic book cover, the two chained people on their knees is the Vision on the left and a character called Wonder Man, who is known as Simon Williams. Simon Williams is the brother of the Grim Reaper. Simon Williams, in the comic books, the Vision's brain patterns were those of Simon Williams. Simon Williams originally was part of the Brotherhood of Evil, I believe. He was a villain. He died, came back, became a hero, joined the Avengers. But there was always this tension between Vision and Simon Williams. Vision felt like the fraud next to Simon Williams because they shared the same brain patterns. There was kind of a romantic triangle. I don't know how much Scarlet Witch reciprocated Simon Williams' feelings. She was in love with the Vision, married the Vision, but the Vision always felt like that Wonder Man, Simon Williams, was trying to come in between them. In this particular storyline, which is one of the first comic books that I ever read on the Avengers, the Grim Reaper is attacking them because he's putting the Vision on trial, saying that he's just basically he's an abomination. His existence is an abomination. This would lead up to right after the Avengers defeat the Grim Reaper, they would be attacked by Ant-Man. Ant-Man, this Ant-Man being Hank Pym, not Scott Lang. This would be Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne as the Wasp. So Ultron was trying to manipulate Hank Pym and was doing it. Had him back. He was Yellow Jacket at that point, but he put him back in the old Ant-Man costume. Then he attacked the Avengers and kidnapped Janet Van Dyne, who was the Wasp. And what he wanted to do was take Janet Van Dyne and transfer her essence into another android called Jocasta, so that Ultron could have a bride. And so these early issues are all dealing with that. But so now I don't know enough about the Grim Reaper. Why was his hat in the cartoon intro? We haven't, as far as I know, Simon Williams has never been introduced into the MCU. So I don't know why the Grim Reaper wouldn't have an issue with the Vision. I don't think we've ever seen the Vision or ever seen the Grim Reaper in the MCU. But and I don't know, maybe it's just an Easter egg. But it makes you wonder if the Grim Reaper won't show up at some point in this miniseries. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions. And if Grim Reaper gets involved, how? If this is a supernaturally based alternate reality, how does he enter into it? So, yeah, lots of questions. Lots of questions to be answered. And and then the other thing is, what about Dottie? She seems to have some villainous tendencies. Who could she be in the Avengers? I mean, we're all looking at Agatha, or we're all looking at Agnes, thinking Agatha Harkness. But is this a little sleight of hand by Kevin Feige? Does he have his hand? Let's see if I can do this on. Is he going, oh, look, Agatha Harkness? Meanwhile, he's introducing, he's got another villain down here in Dottie, and maybe she's going to be a major player. And we're not really noticing it because we got our eyeballs on Agatha Harkness. So, lots of questions. So as right now I don't really have. I've got Vin in here talking to me a little bit. If there are people that watch this between over the next couple of days, I hope you leave me comments. Well, talk to me about what your theories are. I don't know. I do think at first I was thinking that we could be wrong. It's not supernaturally based alternate reality, but tech based. But now I'm kind of thinking it's got to be supernatural based. I think we're going to see Mephisto at some point. But there are pieces I can't put together. I don't know what to think about the helicopter, the red helicopter. There are some, in these black and white episodes, there are some devices that are showing up, or some things that are showing up in color. One of them is the helicopter that Wanda found in her bushes. What was the significance of that? Why did the cut on Dottie's hand turn red. What was going on there? We haven't even talked about at the end of episode 2, there was a guy that came out of a manhole cover. And I did not have time before. Everybody is pointing back to things like Hydra, because they advertised Strucker watch. Yeah, here we go. Then let's see if I can get my cursor over to highlight the comment. I heard the watch in the commercial bears the name of the German villain who experimented on Wanda and Pedro. Yeah. Yeah, the helicopter. Did the helicopter say start? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I knew the toaster did, but I didn't see that on the helicopter. I must have missed that one. But yeah, and then of course Strucker was on the watch, which points kind of to Hydra. But if I remember my comic books correctly, let's see if I can. Come on, Agatha, you're in the way right now. I remember a group called Hive, and he almost looked like a beekeeper. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it would help if I put Marvel instead of just Hive. Now we're seeing kind of, these pictures are kind of from Agents. Is that from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What was Hive? Let's do Wiki. Go to all. Okay. What do we know about Hive? So apparently Hive is not it's not like a military or terrorist type group. I don't know what's going on with this page. Oh, well, it is. Hive is part of Hydra. Created in the Hydra laboratories in their underwater base of Hive. The Hive was an experiment made to physically embody the Hydra ideal. The entity is composed of an untold number of genetically engineered parasites. An unknown and unwilling Hydra agent was fed to these parasites as a host, which they can merge into a singular being. Okay, so this is not really going down the supernatural road, but here is Baron von Strucker. His name. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of Hive. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. Vin may have some answer here. Hive was a scientist who was devoured by bees and has consciousness transferred to the swarm. All right, Vin. Am I losing my mind? Did that come to you? Did you think about that as well? Because that's what I thought of when I saw that guy come up out of the manhole. I immediately thought of Hive. Let's see. Trying to think of how I can Google up. Let's see. Yeah, let's go back to images. Yeah, this guy right here. WandaVision Beekeeper. So I wasn't crazy. He did appear to be a beekeeper to me. Looking over some of these pictures, there's the toaster. There's the toaster from Stark. What I thought was fascinating was someone had picked up. Now, I didn't catch it right away. I did notice that this looked like the Vision. Yeah, Then has to be a beekeeper would just be too odd an image drop without some Marvel backstory. I thought this was interesting. I did notice that this looked like the Vision's emerald that sits on his forehead. That even in the comics, it wasn't the Mind Stone. He had a jewel on his head, and then the beams that shot out of it. But somebody actually made the observation that the magic trick itself with Wanda, you remember when he practiced it, Wanda went into the thing, disappeared, and then came back. And someone actually made the observation that was an Easter egg for the Thanos snap, where Wanda did Wanda disappear? Yeah, she disappeared. She disappeared and came back when Banner used the Infinity Gauntlet to bring everybody back. And she came back with Doctor Strange. So I had not made that connection. What was this? Yeah, there was the helicopter that I did not realize that said Stark. Still, it makes you wonder what was the significance of that helicopter. There's Vision and Wanda practicing the magic trick. Okay. Let's see if I can pull up WandaVision. Let's do this. Grim Reaper helmet. Here's what I'm talking about right here. This helmet is the Grim Reaper's helmet. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think I'm about to call it. Well, let's see. What's Vince saying here? Maybe the disappearing magic trick is a metaphor for the whole show. She is trapped inside a magic illusion gone wrong. Could be. Could be. I will say this. I love this show, and it's for this very reason. You can just sit here and pick apart all the little things and try to figure out exactly what's going on. And that's fun. Yeah, those are the big questions I want to have answered. I'd like to figure out who is talking to Wanda. Who is talking to Wanda, and exactly what kind of reality are they in? It could take us the entire show to figure that out. Right now, if I had to put money on it, that they said if there was a pool, someone was offering a pool saying who is talking to Wanda through the radio, even though it really didn't have the accent. Right now, my guess would be Doctor Strange. Because if she's in a supernaturally based alternate reality, he might be the only one that could actually reach her. And considering this might bleed into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, that could be it. Trying to think. One, before I get out of here, I would like to say I think this show is impeccably cast. I love all of the actors. I love this young lady, Catherine. Don't know her last name. That's playing Agnes. Dottie is good too. They're also good. The folks that played Vision's boss and wife, they were brilliant. That's another point before we leave. That makes me wonder. And I guess one of the things I'm worried about is that the Vision is still dead. Because at the end of episode 1, when they're at the table, and this gentleman's choking on his food, it seemed like Vision couldn't act until Wanda told him to, and that bothered me. Because I want the Vision to be alive. But then again, maybe he is, and just bound by some of what's happening within this reality. Anyway, that's enough speculation. I've run off at the mouth for 60 minutes. Can't wait till Friday. Can't wait till Friday. I don't know that I have anticipated the next show. Well, I take that back. I love Cobra Kai too, and when I sat down and watched it, they gave me all the episodes at once, and I didn't stop until I watched the entire season in one sitting. So, and that took a minute, but yes, I love this show so far. The only thing that would maybe crush me is if Vision remains dead after this show. That would suck. So hopefully they're not going to do that to me, and this will end well. So anyway, I hope if you've stuck with me for this entire hour of me rambling and kind of putting my thoughts out there, that you enjoyed it, and hope you're doing well. And yeah, come back and visit again. And for right now, we're going to call it a night. As soon as I can find the button. So have a good night, folks, and we will see you. I will probably take this live stream and take this to Tuesdays at 8. Since Mandy and I will go back to our normal Wednesday night next week. So anyway, Vin, thanks for being here. And for anybody who's watching afterwards, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Peace.